the Dixie Belle Facebook page. My name is Shannon Stefanacci, and I am from Pick and Booth Vintage down in Fort Myers, Florida. And I am here today, and I'm going to be painting this beautiful 1908 Hutch. So, before I get started, can anybody guess what color this is? It's bold, it's bright, but I think this piece needed it. See the chunky legs? It's just such a big statement piece that I think it really needed the bright color. I don't know if you can see from your camera angle, but these are two different shades. Originally, I was going to use, where do I have it? Tea Rose, which is a soft pink. I thought maybe try to soften it up a little bit, but you know what? I put it on and I just did not like it. I needed to go bold. So this is the color I chose. So that's why there's a different, this just has two coats of paint, this just has one. So, anybody know what color this is? All right, let's see. Yes, it is Cobalt, bright blue. Love, love, love. Has anybody ever painted with Cobalt Blue before? Well, it's definitely bright, and it definitely is a statement piece. Okay, so if you've ever watched me paint on the Dixie Belle page before, you know that I kind of like to add some other colors for highlights and maybe blend a little. Anybody have a guess at what colors I might be adding? Think about it for a second. Got this bright cobalt blue. What color do you think I might be adding? Give me a hint, there's going to be two of them. Two different colors. I have them right here. Anybody? Okay, I see a bunch of things going up on the screen. However, I'm blind and I can't see that far. So, the first color we're going to use, boop, Tree Frog Green. See how well that's going to blend beautifully. Anybody have a different color suggestion of what you think I might be using for the second color? So I have Cobalt Blue, Tree Frog Green, and the other ones? All right, here it is. Limeade. This one is going to accent and highlight. It's going to be gorgeous, I hope. But for those of you that have never watched me paint before, you know that my philosophy is paint it. If you don't like it, just repaint it. Painting furniture is supposed to be fun, not stressful. So I'm going to have some fun today, and I thank you for being here with me. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get my tools. Here we go. I'm all set. So the colors I'm going to be using today is, the main color is Cobalt Blue, accenting with Tree Frog Green and a little bit of Limeade. All right, let me set those aside. So this piece right here, the wood on here is so gorgeous. I decided to leave this alone. I think it brings out the legs, and I left this trim here. When I get done, if I decide I need to paint it, I can always go back and paint it. But for now, I'm going to leave it like it is. I have a little bit of the brown trim here, brown down here, here, and then here. All right, so I have all my colors. The cobalt. I will be using my mini brush with the cobalt. I have my Limeade. We'll also be using a different mini. And then my Tree Frog Green, which I already have on a plate. And I'll be also using a mini. So I'll be using 3 mini brushes. And then I'll be using my oval medium to kind of make sure that they blend seamlessly. Whenever I paint, I use a lot of different brushes, and I have extras on hand just in case. And another very important thing you need when you're going to be blending a few colors is you need your mister bottle. This is just a little bottle that spritzes water. Okay, So let's get started. I guess we'll just start here and we'll work our way that way, and then I'll come down here and do this. So I already have one coat of the Cobalt Blue here, so I'm gonna be putting on my second coat. As you can see, it's very bright. It does dry a little bit darker. Now, when I use my accent colors, I'm just going to kind of decide where they go based on the section of the piece, or the section that I'm on. So I don't want it to be totally balanced. I just want a little bit of color depth. Okay, so here is my second coat of Cobalt. So you can see this is very shiny and bright compared to the other side that has already dried. Now let's have some fun. I'm going to be adding a little bit of the Limeade. All right, so just leave it off the hook. Okay, so I'm going to use my mini. And I'm just going to highlight a little bit up here and here. This is with the Limeade. Now I'm going to use another mini, my favorite, a little bit of the tree frog green, just on the outside of the Limeade. Then I will take my oval medium and I'm going to kind of blend this together, and I'm going to keep my Mr. bottle handy just in case I need some water if it's not blending well. I want the color to go up and down. I'm not going side to side. I want it to blend more like this. Can you see the highlight of the different colors? Look how beautiful that is. Now I need just a little bit on this medallion here. So I'm just going to use very little of the Limeade. Oops, a little bit too much. So I'm just going to, a little bit, and just a hint of the tree frog, just like I did with the, let me get my rag. So I'm going to use the same oval medium, and I'm just going to kind of blend that in together. But I have a rag handy because they're very useful when you want to get your excess paint off your blending brush. And now this is just supposed to be very, very subtle. That's exactly what we have here. All right. I'm loving it already. What do you think? I'm looking at the camera and I don't know if you can really see because it's very subtle. However, I will be taking lots of pictures afterwards and posting them to my Facebook page. So if you want to see up close, make sure you follow me on Pick and Boots Vintage. All right, so now I'm going back to my mini. I'm giving the door another coat, activating the paint. Some of you might be thinking, you know, that I don't have this taped off. Well, when you're using your brush and your edge goes down, if you angle it this way, you will only hit the top of what's sticking out. So I'm going to go ahead and this is such a large piece, but I think I should be able to do the whole door get it blended without it drying on me. I'm hoping. If not, I can always activate it with a little bit of the Mr. bottle. Okay. Some of you may be looking at this piece and wondering, oh my goodness, why is she painting it? Well, it was all scratched up. There's veneer and stuff missing, gouges in it. So for me, it's a lot easier to just go ahead and paint it than to try to restore it. So, as I'm painting the second coat on the door part, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to use my highlights. When I put my highlights on, I like to go up and down. I don't like to go, sideways and up and down. I like to try to keep it one direction. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. So while you guys are watching this, what do you think I should be accenting with at the very end? Should I put a wax on it, a glaze on it, a wash on it? Let's look at this real quick. And if you think it's wax, what color wax? If you think it's a glaze, what color glaze? Okay, so now that the door, I put my second coat on of the Cobalt Blue, I'm going to highlight a little bit with the Limeade. I think I'm just going to go here and here. Maybe a little there. And there. All right, so now the trefoil green. I always generally try to keep it near the other color. So now I'm going back to my oval medium and I'm going to blend it with my Mr. Belle handy. Just gives it a nice subtle color addition. Actually, it kind of reminds me of like mermaid colors. I've never painted anything in Cobalt Blue yet. I do have a vendor who painted a beautiful dresser in Cobalt Blue, and it was a hit. People loved it. And of course it's sold, but sometimes you spray just your brush so you don't get too much water on your piece. All right. Let me step back and take a look. Okay, so it's just enough. It's subtle. It's not a lot. It's very subtle. On the camera where I'm looking, I can see that you can tell where it's definitely wet. I don't really know how well you can see the highlight. However, you'll see it in the pictures afterwards. Okay, so now I'm going to do this side. I'm going to use my oval medium with Cobalt to put the second coat on. So Christmas is coming up. How many people have all their shopping done or have all their shopping done and their presents wrapped under the tree? Anybody? If you do, you are amazing. This year I bought a lot of stuff off Amazon. And I'm trying to save myself a headache as when it comes in, I've been wrapping it so I don't have to stress and wrap all at the same time. Okay, so I have my second coat on here. I'm going to use some of the Limeade. Get my napkin out. If you get a little bit too much on your brush, just dab it on the rag. I'll put it here, here. And then I'm going to use my Tree Frog Green. Might as well go ahead and do this now too. Last time I did it 2 parts. Going back to my oval medium, my blending. All right. If you've never blended before, don't be scared, just try it. You might surprise yourself. I remember the first time I tried blending. I was very nervous, scared, but I learned by practicing. Here we go. There we are. All right, so what do you think so far? Can you see the highlights? It's kind of shiny, so, but it will dry differently. Let me turn this light. There we go. All right, so the shelf here, I'm just going to leave all cobalt, so I'm just going to paint that really quick. If I decide I want to add a little bit of the Limeade or the Tree Frog Green, I can always go back and do that later. All right, so here comes the fun part. Of course, now though, I've got to get on my favorite little thing, my little wheelie cart. There we go. These things are knee savers. I think though, I'm going to add a little bit of the highlighting colors to the molding here, the trim, because it is layered, and I want to give it some depth. This right here though is flat, so I'm just going to leave that like that. So I'm going to grab my Limeade. Put a little bit here, here, and here. And then my Tree Frog Green, always near the highlighting color. And then I'm going to take my blending brush and just simply blend it together. There we are. All right, so it's starting to dry. Can you kind of see the color variation? In person, it looks really good. All right, so let's continue on. Start with this little medallion area here. Put my second layer of cobalt on with my mini. Trying to decide how I'm going to add my accent colors. I'll probably just put it right here on the raised part. I'll do that and I'll see how it looks. Let's see. Okay, so Limeade. Remember, I'm just going to go right on the raised surface here. And, whoops, Tree Frog. And then I'm going to blend. There we go. Oh, I love it. Looks good. So I think that's what I'll do on the other side. So now I need to decide what I'm going to do in this middle portion. While I'm thinking about that, I'm just going to go ahead and do this other medallion right over here. So they'll be the same. And then I'll probably just frame the rest in with the cobalt. Alexa, volume 3. My music's a little loud. I don't want to get my video deleted because you can hear the music in the background. I don't have the rights to some of the Christmas music that's playing in the background. I see there's questions and comments coming up. If during the video, if it's not answered by Dixie Belle, I will go back and I will answer them for y'all. Okay. Let me get my colors over here. My Limeade. And I've never used the Limeade before either. I have used the Tree Frog Green because it is a beautiful color, but I love experimenting with colors that I haven't used before. Alright, so now let's go to the middle. Let's see. How am I going to do this? Let's see. I'll probably just put my second coat of the Cobalt on. Making sure I'm leaving this wood part here. I'm going to be careful that I don't get that. Again, I'm using my flat mini. The mini brushes are great for flat surfaces. Whew. Florida today, I think, is a high of somewhere in the low 80s. After last week being really cool, but you can definitely tell you're in Florida. It's hot. So I'm not complaining. I just got back from Alabama, and when we left Alabama, it was 37 degrees. So it will definitely, definitely take 81 over 37 any day of the week. I like the cold, but I like the cold in small doses. I miss it because I grew up just north of Chicago, so I'm used to the snow and sledding and ice skating and all that, but I don't miss it that much. Okay. Highlighting colors. I think I'll just go on the sides. One higher, one lower. Then my Tree Frog Green. A little bit more. My blending brush. Okay, so this one's not blending as well. I think my brush is drying, so I'm just going to spritz it with a little bit of the mister bottle. Take the excess water off with a rag. And if this brush, if I ever feel it has too much paint on it, or it's not blending just right, I just grab a fresh brush because, like I said, I always keep a plethora of brushes handy. All right, let me get this side. This time I'll spray just because there's really no big difference, it's just preference. Oops. Rags are always handy too, because if you accidentally get some paint on an area that you don't want the paint on, you just wipe it away really quick while it is still wet. Okay, so now I need to go back with my Cobalt, and I need to frame in the area that I did not blend. I love the chunky legs, but I think they're gonna look the best on this piece left, the dark. If you were painting this piece, what would you do with the legs? Would you leave them? Or maybe highlight them with some colors? Or what would you do? I'm just curious. I always love to hear what other people would do, because sometimes people have other opinions or ideas that you never thought of. So I love to hear that. The nice thing about being on the Dixie Belle page for you all when you watch videos, there's so many different styles that you're able to watch what you like or learn new things that maybe you haven't thought about. All right, let me move to the other side. Get to the bottom of this one. You can see where it's starting to dry now because it's not as shiny. And let me give you my tip. If you get a drip, which most people do, I just use my finger and I just kind of smear it in. If you take a rag and wipe it away, sometimes it'll wipe the paint away and then you'll have a big brown spot. So I just use my fingertip and lightly just blend it in. All right. Now, as you can tell, this is definitely on the brighter side. I do plan on using something to warm it up. I'm going to have, though, to check and see if there's an area on here that is dry enough for me to do it. If not, I'll just do it tomorrow, and then I will post the pictures on my Pick and Boots Vintage Facebook page and my Instagram page, which is also Pick and Boots Vintage. So make sure you like those if you would like to see it. The finished product. Let me see. Wow. Okay, so this is definitely something that is bright. Not for everybody, but I love it. I've been painting for a long time now, and I like to do different things. I like to be a little adventurous, crazy, because you know what? Like I said, I always say if you don't like it, you just simply repaint it. Okay, so let me see if there's an area that's dry, because I'm going to be using my favorite, which I always use. I like to use the Best Dang Wax in black. Black is my favorite. I find the brown to be a little light. I wish the brown was a little darker, so I always tend to gravitate towards the black. And I'm going to be using the tapered brush. Let me see if I can find a dry spot. No. Basically where I want to use the black wax, there's like a little bit of paint around where it's still wet. So if I were to put the paint, the black wax on, it would just smush. So, and I just painted that. Well, you know what? I can probably do the edge here just so you can kind of see what look I'm going for. But again, if you want to see the finished product, just follow my Facebook page and they'll be posted. For those that watched me last Wednesday, those pictures of the burlap dresser that I did are on there. All right, so I'm using the tapered brush. I like this one because it has a point. So when you're going into the corners, it goes in really smooth and then you just kind of feather out. However, I'm not really hitting a corner here, I'm hitting more of an edge. So let's just, let's see, where are my glasses? Let me grab my glasses so I can see. Okay, much better. So I'm just going along the edge. You can do this with the wax. You can do this with the Voodoo black gel stain. You can do it with a little bit of paint. You can do it with whatever you feel most comfortable with. I just happen to like the black wax. Pretty soon, I have on order, it should probably be here within a day or two, is the gilding wax, the chameleon wax, because The chameleon wax. Oh my gosh. Would probably look fantastic on here. I might have to do another video, not finish this, but put on my Facebook page using the chameleon wax, because with these colors and the chameleon wax, it will be beautiful. If you don't know what the chameleon wax is, look on the Dixie Belle page, look on my page when I do it on this. It's amazing. Okay, let me continue on with this just so you can see. Okay, nice. And I do have my lint-free rag handy just in case I need to wipe some back. But I'm putting it on so light that it really doesn't need to be wiped back. So I'm just going along this edge for now, just so you can kind of see the look that I'm going for. And I'll have to finish it up once all the paint is dry. Let me step back and take a peek. Woo, I love it. All right, so, well, this kind of gives you a glimpse of where I'm going with this piece. A lot of it is still too wet to continue to put the black wax on. So again, I'll just finish that off camera, and I'll be posting pictures to my Facebook page, which is Pick and Booze Vintage. And I won't be back on till probably January. So I hope all of you have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And happy painting. All right. Have a great day. Take care.